need to understand kind of the basics of how stock is a motivator and is allocated in a company, how financings are done, how intellectual property is protected. That's probably the biggest thing you need to worry about, first of all, is how do you have the rights to your invention, and how do you deal with Stanford about it if it's co-developed somehow by Stanford, and how to think about making the connections that we talked about, the ecosystem to do all the things you need to get a company launched. There are all these books that have been written. Why did all this happen in Silicon Valley and not as successfully in places like Route 128 where I grew up? I grew up outside Boston. There's certainly lots of technology companies there, but the entrepreneurial activity is really a lot less. The amount of venture capital that goes in, a lot less. Why not in Chicago? Why not in Corvallis, Oregon, Research Triangle, and so forth? And I come back to the infrastructure. It's where you can get a printed circuit board, manufactured for you in a couple of days, or instead of a couple of months, or where you can find an angel investor or a lawyer or an accountant or somebody who understands your business, instead of going around looking for somebody who's never dealt with you before, or a landlord who will take warrants instead of cash for the first 9 months of the lease. So I think it's the infrastructure, the mentality, the role models. I think that every one of us knows somebody who's been a successful entrepreneur, and if we know anybody at Google, we're going to know a lot of successful entrepreneurs pretty soon. There are going to be a lot of very wealthy early employees there, and certainly, I attended a closing dinner the other night. It was just a wonderful thing. It's a company that was started 4 years ago, 40 engineers in the room, all of them millionaires. We sold the company to a large company, and it was with an earn-out, which is something that lawyers normally say don't do earn-outs because they're always litigated. But it was a very successful earn-out. We sold the company for $150 million up front, and an uncapped earnout, which ended up being another $350 million. And so this company of about 80 employees, mostly had very little venture capital, mostly employee stock. Essentially, all of them are millionaires, multimillionaires. It was just a wonderful dinner to look around the room and see 40 engineers who this is their first job, can now buy a very nice home in Silicon Valley as a result of 4 years of work for this company. I think it's just it's that role model that goes throughout the community that creates the entrepreneur's dream.